afternoon. It is December 4th, 2025. Welcome to Scouching Live. Today is a big day. If you're a podcast listener, you won't notice. But I was supposed to be watching a bunch of under 17 World Hockey Challenge video today for Puck Prep. So Kev, if you're watching, I'm very sorry. But I got carried away, redesigned my desk and everything, and moved a bunch of stuff around. And now we've got a brand new camera angle. It's a
For
new day.
shame. For
I know,
shame.
I know. I should be doing my job, and in reality, I let my ADHD get the best of me, and now I have two monitors stacked on top of one another. Because I also got very tired of looking over my shoulder for looking at this monitor or looking at this monitor and all that stuff. So we switched things up. If you don't like it, too bad. Suck it up. We'll get over it together. Yeah, we're back. Obviously, also it might also be the first week back from a vacation. You know, changing minds a little bit. I think we're finally over the jet lag. As of yesterday, Monday night was rough. That one I lost steam about 20 minutes in, to be perfectly honest. But here we are. But anyway, yeah, we've been right back at work. We've done a ton of office hours in the Discord server over the last 2 days. AJ has regaled us with constant commentary of his EU4 and video editing while working. So there's been that going on. Yeah, we've been.
Honestly, I felt kind of bad. So I'm like, am I being a distraction? Should I just leave and let people do what they want?
Love it. People love it when people are talking about something that they're not involved in at all for hours on end. Yeah. No, they love that.
My self-awareness kicked in, but only too late, I fear. So, sorry everybody for that, but hey, I'll back off from now on, I promise.
Okay, so, alright. Wow, I was away for a while here. I'm just scrolling through the log of guys here. Let's see. What have we done since coming back? We did a game of, we took a look at Ryder Cali, after seeing him in the first round of a few people's, and took a look at him. I hadn't seen much of him. Kasper Justavara Carlson was another one we did. We did a Morgan Anderberg game after that, both SHL guys. We went to France, took a look at Arthur Hostain again, and that was not so great.
Back to France.
Yeah, we went to France. I actually tracked the game of his that I was thinking about going to in Paris, but it was the night I landed. I thought I could make it happen, but I slept for about 90 minutes on the plane ride over, and I was gassed, so that wasn't going to happen. Did a game of Landon Haffley, a game of Noah Kozik. Who else is in here? Mykola Kosarev. That one, I didn't make it all the way. I stopped and got sad and turned it off and moved on with my life. Unfortunately.
You had to beat the traffic. You had to beat the traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got 10 minutes into the first period and said, yeah, I think I'm going to get my car and take off before the second hour of parking hits. JC Lemieux was another one we did. This was, I think, yesterday. Jackson Cover, we got in there as well. Alexander Grunin as well. We took another look at our boy, our big lanky silver division Eastern Russian Junior Conference defenseman of the year, Alexander Grunin. Then we did another Alexander Command, the Swedish youngster. Again, I think I've seen him in the first round in a few different spots, so we took a look at him. We did UMass defenseman Landon Nitsch, and then last game we did yesterday was Aussie Tukio. And today I got through a period and a half of an under-17 World Hockey Challenge game and then went to work down here redesigning my whole work.
For shame, William, for shame.
Well, if it helps at all, I will be finishing up what I started after this is over. I don't have anything else that I really can move around. I've done everything that I wanted to do. But who knows? Maybe we'll be, You'll
find some other project to cause you to procrastinate. That is the life of an ADHD person.
There is some code stuff that I need to update for the site, so maybe we'll do a bit of that. I also haven't done the books for the business last month, so that also has to get done. So who knows what I'm going to be doing around 4:15 Eastern Standard Time today. But between now and then, we're in here. So as you probably noticed, AJ is still here. You're missing next week, I believe, but you are here today.
Yes.
So welcome. How are you doing? The Leafs have finally figured it out. They're going to be Stanley Cup champions after all. How are you feeling about that?
No, they're not. No, they're not. Come on.
They're in the top 10 in the last 2 weeks. They're one of the top 10 teams in the league the last 2 weeks. So
Not from my eye test. My bleeding eyes would tell you otherwise.
Well, don't use the eye test. You have to look at the stats. You can't or not look at the stats. You don't look at the, I don't know. You just look at the score sheet.
No,
you just have to
look
find a way
at
to make
no. You look at what is going to confirm your opinion.
Right.
That's what it's all about. It doesn't matter about eye test or analytics. Whatever fits my narrative and bias, that's what you got to look at, okay?
Yes, it's
so
true.
I look at the shots on goal, and I can tell you this team is bad. It's very bad.
Joseph Waldo, he's doing stuff.
Look, man, goaltending was never a problem in the last year or so, okay? It was always a problem for a while, but it's not the problem now.
He's no Colorado Avalanche goaltending tandem because they've been absolutely ripping. They've given up 5 goals at 5-on-5 in the last 2 weeks. So that's pretty incredible.
They're amazing, and I wish teams would build themselves like the Colorado Avalanche. Like, that's kind of why my philosophy of finding the fastest dudes came to be, was because I loved the Colorado Avalanche of like 2021, 2022. I thought they were better than the Tampa team that won the cup, really. But hey, Tampa has 2 cups. Colorado only has 1 from that era. But Colorado did beat Tampa because I knew that was the antidote.
Right. The best teams don't always win the Stanley Cup. That's not an unusual.
The St. Louis Blues.
The best teams in the world don't always go all the way. You know, stuff happens in the playoffs. That's why the playoffs are so great.
And I don't say that to disparage the St. Louis Blues. I say it to disparage certain head coach of the team that I cheer for. Fire him, please. Don't care. Fire him.
Well, we'll see what happens, but Colorado Avalanche continue to absolutely rip. The Minnesota Wild, the other one too. I mean, I sat in front of my computer today trying to think of how to shoehorn in Colorado's goaltending and Jesper Wallstedt into the title of the show somehow, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. I'm not smart enough. I'm not a very good marketer. But Jesper Wallstedt has been also just absolute, like,
it could have been, are these goaltending performances sustainable? And then we could have put Joseph Woll, the Colorado tandem, and then Jesper Wallstedt on the thumbnail. It would have been done. See, this is why Will has me, but we weren't really communicating.
No. I mean, I don't think Jesper Wallstedt's ever going to let in a goal ever again. I mean, he's got four shutouts in his last 6 games.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he has just been on an absolute rip. So I'll take it. Because look, I watched him quite a bit last year because I couldn't believe my eyeballs and I couldn't believe what was happening with just how awful he looked last year. I know people have been saying like, oh, Iowa wasn't very good last year either, yada yada yada. But I don't know, man. If you go and actually watch him perform as a goaltender last year, it did not look like he was one of the best goaltenders in the world at all last year. But this year, well, let's just say he's regressing. I mean, in that span, let's see, since November 1st, which is when he kind of started going on a rip here, he's given up 7 goals. And that is in 7 games.
That is amazing.
And his team has scored 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 15, 20 goals in that period. So they've got a goal differential of 20-7 over the course of 7 games.
That's an average of below 3 goals a game.
Exactly.
By the way.
So somehow Minnesota has pulled it off. And mixed in there, how many shots has he faced? He's only faced less than 30 shots twice in those 7. And none of them were fewer than 25 shots in a game. Mm-hmm. So he's getting just drilled into the ground, and like he put up a 39 save performance the other night against Colorado, and they won in the shootout. Like, I hope it's sustainable because not only does it make me look smart for believing in him.
Hey, but you jumped off the train this year.
I did off the train. I look, I'm not unhappy about it. I'll say that. But last year was rough, and hopefully, I hope
you put him in the maybes category. Come on.
Well, yeah.
Look at this dummy over here, putting him in the maybes category, and now he's going nuts. This is why goalies are voodoo. It's because we cannot judge how confidence is affecting a goaltender and what their mental state of mind is, because that is really what it comes down to when playing the position. How confident are you that you're going to save the next shot?
Well, we'll see, but he's on a heck of a run, and that's pretty incredible. So
Good
we're
for
in a
Jesper
goaltending.
Wallstedt. Will abandon ship at the lowest selling point, and he lost. That is the
Oh
moral of the
yeah.
story here.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'm really unhappy about him having this much success.
His
It's
stock was
just
up at
such
third overall.
so
Then you put him into maybe, and now he is maybe the best
figuring it
goalie in the
out.
NHL now.
You said maybe, therefore he's a maybe still. Uh, but in any case, it's been a heck of a run for goaltending. It's been a heck of a run for the Colorado Avalanche recently. I am trying to catch up with the way the NHL has been headed over the last little while. The Washington Capitals are at the top of the Eastern Conference all of a sudden too. Like I don't know how that happened, but I mean Alex Ovechkin I think has been on another tear recently. So things are shaken out. I mean now is I think around the time of the
Spencer
season when you
Carberry,
kind of
man.
now's around the time of the season when you can kind of sort of understand exactly what an NHL team kind of has in the tank right now. Um, I mean, some of the gaps are pretty close though. Still, like it's not,
It's not
I mean,
over,
it's
but
not
it
over,
should
right. Like
be.
the Toronto Maple Leafs, for example, the Florida Panthers are the worst team in the Eastern Conference, which I didn't have on my bingo card, but they're 6 points out of a playoff spot. That's not nothing. Um, maybe you look at a team like Calgary, Nashville, Vancouver. I don't know if those teams will get there, but if they have a turnaround, they're only 6 points out of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, I don't know, maybe there's something that could be. It's not over for anybody at this point, but you definitely can kind of see the trajectory for a lot of these teams and the vibes. You can definitely tell with quite a few teams where the vibes are sitting, and that's going to be fun. But I mean, I will say too, like especially in the East, I think we're starting to see it. And I think you and I talked about this at the beginning of the year, like a really interesting playoff picture sort of coming into focus where
Oh, I
you've
thought it
got
was going to be a completely similar playoff picture going into the start of the year. Like
I mean,
I thought only like I literally had no new teams in.
I didn't think Boston would be competing for a playoff spot. I didn't think Pittsburgh would be competing for a
Neither
playoff
did
spot,
I.
but I mean, you've got Philadelphia, Montreal, Ottawa, like the Islanders are still hanging around, but like going into the season, it's like we thought the Rangers might take a step back, the Leafs, who knows about them, but like ideally Columbus takes a step, ideally, something gets a little bit tighter. The Panthers, I don't think anybody expected them to take this much of a step back, but now there's a lot more going on in this sort of playoff picture for the conference. And yeah, like there's not much separating these teams, and it's been very interesting to catch up on because I definitely didn't notice any of this while I was away and over the last day or two just catching up. I don't know. It's been a fun season. I don't know if this was the case last season, maybe, but like there's
No,
I
I
don't
think last year went pretty much how I thought it would go, other than Nashville and St. Louis being mid as opposed to terrible.
Right. Yeah. And I mean the West is very interesting compared to last season, I would say. Like Utah seems to be I mean they've been on a bit of a dump stretch lately, but the Ducks sitting at fourth, not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
The youngsters, like a lot of these young teams seem to be making a difference, it seems. And even, San Jose's sitting in a playoff spot now. So it's interesting to see the paradigm shifting here a little bit and seeing these teams that have been drafting and developing a lot and sort of wandering around in the basement here and there every year, kind of figuring it out. And they're fun teams to watch, almost to a team, almost to a T, like almost to a name. They're all a lot of fun to watch. And some teams are definitely not a whole lot of fun to watch right now.
I know. I watch one sometimes.
Right. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. To save AJ's television, he's not watching a whole lot of.
No,
of
it's not to save my television. It's to save my brain from melting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, punching a hole right through your skull. We're
I've tried. I've tried a couple of times. It just hasn't worked, unfortunately.
what's
And my
the
suffering.
what's the thing from Ghostbusters? It's like, oh,
I've
you
never
stopped
seen
me from.
Ghostbusters, so I don't
Oh
know.
boy. Oh man. Wow.
Listen, I'm
Right.
not a very cultured person when it comes to movies. I'm just cultured when it comes to knowing about history, all right?
I mean,
But not all history.
that is now a 40-year-old movie, so like little a little bit old, but
Right, but it was a
still a
15-year-old
classic.
movie when I was born, so.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Star Wars was 15 when I was born, so that was my Ghostbusters, and I
Oh,
loved
I
Star
love
Wars
Star
growing up.
Wars. I watch Star Wars, trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved
Well,
Yoda because I love the color green.
okay.
I mean, dude, there's a I colored in my face with green marker when I was like 6 years old to be
Wow.
Yoda. Yeah.
That's what must have made you a Leaf fan because
No,
the
no.
markers must have been toxic and melted your brain. That's the
uh,
only explanation. I was dropped on my head a couple of times as a baby. My mom used
no,
to give me whiskey to shut me up, you know.
I think it has more to do with my proximity to the city of Toronto. Actually, I was given a Leafs
Okay.
jersey at birth. That was
Okay.
one of the first things I was bestowed.
Well, on that note, I think we can get into the chat here.
Sure.
Let's start. It's been a while. We got a decent chunk of folks popping in, and let's keep this rolling here. Isaiah, so yeah, a very valued member of our YouTube membership community. What's going on? Been hanging out in office hours a bit, and it was a good time. I think I could be mistaken, but I think we also got a drive-through order with you in there at one point, which was really
That
funny.
was awesome. I was
That
there
was
for
really
that.
fun. It was a good time. What do you think of Viktor Fyodorov and Gleb Pugachev? If you've seen Daniil Skvortsov, what do you think of them? So yeah, I haven't seen Fyodorov and Pugachev in a while, but I like them both. I think with Fyodorov, I'm a little less interested in him. I don't know what he is at higher levels. Like I don't know if like he doesn't he's got some good energy off the puck. Like I think maybe for a creative team, he's one of those guys who might not be super big, but a bottom six sort of energy two-way guy who you know but I feel like he's a guy who's used to being in the top six, used to scoring a lot, used to being sort of the guy the puck flows through a little bit, and he kind of struggles with that at the level he's at, which is in the second division in Russia. So not nothing, but I do think it is a little bit he's been a little bit underwhelming for me this year. I went into the year a little bit cooler on him than most, but for me he's like a second, third round guy, and I think there's maybe something there. I haven't seen him in a while, so I will check him out relatively soon. I have to do a pass through of all the big boys. So if you are not a Scouching subscriber or a YouTube member, we're doing office hours tomorrow. There's going to be a bunch of the higher end guys that we're going to take a look at. You're going to see the data get made and all that stuff. You're going to see how the cake is made, so to speak. And so we're going to have a big day tomorrow. So maybe in the next week or two, Fyodorov and Pugachev will be in there. Pugachev, I think, is a very interesting player. I think there's a case to be made that he is like one of the guys in this year's class where it's like he's almost really really good. Like I think there's a lot of situations where you know his forechecking work is really good. He's a physical player. He doesn't play like your prototypical Russian guy. You know, and I don't mean that to be like thumbing my nose at Russian hockey players, but I mean more in the sense of like he plays very North American. Like he plays a north-south style of play. He's aggressive. He finishes checks. Like he kind of mixes things up quite a bit for a guy like that. I like them. I like him a lot, though. I think there's a. I think that there's a like. It's just a matter of like there's skill, but it doesn't always work out for him. He might bite off a little more than he can chew. So it's a matter of like, do you restrain him a little bit, or do you coach him and keep training him and try to push things a little more? I'd love him to be a bit more inside driven with the puck himself. He just seems more of a off puck focused guy with good forechecking game and all that stuff. But maybe the last sort of 15% of becoming a real difference maker is a bit of a work in progress still. But I really like him. I think he's a player that could be a very valuable bottom six energy guy in the NHL one day. I don't have like a level of certainty there because it's like there's a lot of moments in those games where I'm watching him and it's instead of like a lot of head turning moments, it's a lot of like, you're so close, but it just like doesn't quite get there. So really interesting player though, who I think brings a lot of really intriguing traits, and I've liked him every time I've seen him. It's just a matter of like the hitting that potential that I think is there. And with Skvortsov, I actually was watching him last night. Weirdly enough, it was one of those nights where I was up a little later than I should have been, floating around Instead and watching some guys that I had in my watch list. So a lot of the guys that people have been suggesting on the show were guys I was popping around on last night. So Skvortsov was one where I had him in my ranking this year, and or I still have him in there as a watch list guy, and I wanted to watch a bit of him with Brandon now. And I still see a similar player there, right? Like with Skvortsov, it was about his like long-term trajectory. I'm a little disappointed in the offensive ability. Like I haven't seen the sort of same shooting ability that I saw last year here and there. I haven't seen as much I don't know how to put it, but there hasn't been as much like oomph in his game as I remember, like daring offensive moments that I think really showcase the footwork that he's got, the explosiveness in his skating. And I feel like that was what kind of made up for a lot of his defensive issues that I saw last year, finishing checks and monitoring gaps and not letting guys through him was a bit of a problem last year, and I think that's a big reason he went undrafted. But I think you can build on the raw ability of him. Like he's 6'4", he skates really, really well. Brandon's got him playing on the right side of the ice. He's a left-hand shot, or the other way around. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's yeah. But anyway, either way, they're playing him on the wrong side of the ice relative to the direction he shoots. And he looks pretty good there. Like, I don't think he's been bad with Brandon really at all. I think he's an interesting fit for the type of team they want to be. I mean, I would have drafted him last year somewhere in the draft, and I feel like he probably still should have been, but he doesn't really look like a surefire guy that I think gets picked this year. Time will tell, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I haven't thought he's taken a huge step this season, really. There are areas where I think he's taken maybe a step back, which is disappointing. But he, to me, last year was always like you bet on the fundamentals type, and you give him a few years and some encouragement, and you might have an interesting two-way guy. So we'll see. Can you talk about the CHL defenseman this year or rant? Well, I won't rant because that's not necessary, I don't think. But the CHL defenseman this year. So let's see. What do we got? OHL, QMJHL. Oh, wait. What? Oh, there we go. And WHL. So the CHL defenseman this year. So there are a lot of them. It seems, and there's definitely some that are probably going to go very, very high. I have them pretty decently segmented in terms of like tiers and what I see in them. And I've got how many here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ranked right now on my list. I mean, for me, the number one guy is Villeneuve. Like I see a special hockey player there. I think like especially after the CHL and TDP series, which I've watched both games now. He he definitely had some shaky moments, but I think if you say that and don't mention every other CHL defenseman having some really shaky moments, then you're lying. Like all of those guys had moments where you went, "Gah," especially in their own end, and they also had moments where it was good, right? Like I think that every one of those defensemen you can kind of poke and prod at in their own end and poke at some moments and find what you want to find in there. Like Villeneuve did not have a perfect couple of games, but in terms of like watching him play and how he generated offense and just how much opportunity he created for himself and his line mates, it was just like unbelievable. Like it was he again, a lot of the ways that I sort of look at like who my top players available in an NHL draft class are, the way I do it or the mentality I try to have is like if I am a coach or I'm a video coach or I'm a scout or whatever, and I'm pre-scouting what to do against a player. And if that list of options, if that list of like, well, you can get on them by doing this or this or this, if that list of options is like really, really small, those are the players where it's most valuable, right? Like if I can look at a defenseman and I go, I just send out a fast guy who can chip and chase past them. I know their pivots aren't very good. They're not very explosive. They could win that race, especially if maybe they're not the hardest defending player in terms of physical play along the boards. I know, like, if you try to skate through them, you might lose. But if you find ways around them. or forwards, right? Like if I go, well, I know this guy's not going to be inside driven, so I can use my wingers to press them to the outside, or use my center to block passing lanes inside, and I know that it'll sort of negate. Anyway, you kind of get what I'm saying. And when I look at a guy like Villeneuve, I see a guy who I go, I don't. The only thing I can think of with Villeneuve is if he screws up defensively, which I think is happening less and less, and if he's caught in the offensive zone pushing for offense and is not covered for it, and my another player on the line shoots the puck when they shouldn't, it goes off a shin pad and you've got a 3-on-1 going the other way or a 2-on-1 going the other way. Like you kind of those are, because if Villeneuve has the puck, I don't know what you do, because you can't get to him because he's such a good skater. He's explosive, he's agile, he's skilled. You know, he very rarely is overhandling the puck. I find like that puck is stuck to him all the time. And the offensive generation is insane with him. So for me, it's like the list of things where I'm a little bit skeptical is pretty limited, and I love him. I think there's a really excellent player there one day. Like during those games, Craig Button was talking a lot about Lane Hudson, and I know Villeneuve himself has talked a lot about Lane Hudson as a sort of guy that he models his game after. I see more out of his game that I like than I remember from Lane Hudson when he was a draft eligible. Like I didn't agree with it, but I could at least see the argument as to why an NHL team might skip on a Lane Hudson in the first round. I wouldn't have. He's a team scouching guy, but like I could see the argument. And with Villeneuve, I do not see the same argument at all with the same with this with that there was with Hudson. I think with Villeneuve, like there's like a hybrid, and this might sound crazy, but like after that CHL and TDP series where he's playing with the best of the best in Canada, playing against the best of the best in the US, just the way that he creates offense, how he works in the offensive zone, the give and goes, the pinching in the offensive zone, like I see a guy like a hybrid of Makar and Hudson there. Like the ability to shake off defenders while doing it, while skating and exploding out of those skilled moves and pushing into the offensive zone and protecting the puck super well. I don't think he's quite the same level of shooter that a Cale Makar is at all. But I mean, in terms of a playmaker, as a guy who can skate with the best of them, I think there's a ton there with Villeneuve, and he moved up my list after that series because it was like, okay, we took him out of the queue, we put him in a situation where he's going to be a target, and I think he was arguably the best defenseman on the ice relatively, probably one of the best players on the ice for both teams consistently. I was certainly noting him more than everyone else. Beyond that, Chase Reed is in there. I have Chase Reed below Villeneuve, but I thought Chase Reed looked pretty good in that game, or those two games. Definitely some shaky moments in his own end, especially on the rush, and relinquishes some space a little too much, and just allows some pressure through him. Like he's not the most fierce defensive player, but he's not bad. And I think he's just a very well-rounded overall player with some really good pass vision, some really explosive skating ability, really good puck protection. Like there's a lot of good ingredients there. But if he's like a top 5 pick, I'm not sure I do it. I think there's an interesting player there, but I am a little more hesitant on him relative to Villeneuve. Ryan Lynn is in there as well, and I've been up and down on Lynn. Like he's in my first round. I think he's a guy where there's a lot of upside, and I think there's a long way to get there. Like the way he plays, there is a little bit of that Villeneuve style of pass first, shifty skill, playmaking style of offensive defenseman. He was making some good defensive stops with his stick in the series as well that I noted, which was an area that I also wanted to see a little bit more out of him with. And it's hard to explain live on camera, but there were also some moments in that game where I kind of also was thinking like, if I'm measuring him up against how much I've seen out of a Villeneuve in these two games, I just don't see as much in terms of upside potential. And I think with Lynn, the way he plays is risky in terms of projection to the NHL. I think there's going to need to be some fundamentals improvements over the next few years. Not saying that's impossible, but the checklist is a little longer for him. Carls and Rudolph and Liskey. Breck Liskey, I really have liked. The game we did of Noah Kozik, it was bad. Like Swift Current got absolutely shellacked. Noah Kosick was not amazing in that game. It wasn't bad, but like not, not a huge enough difference maker to really provide a lot of pushback against Everett. Obviously, there's only so much you can do as one player on a team that's that quality playing against a team like Everett. But Breck Liskey was a guy I noted in that game as an opponent like 3 or 4 times, and I wasn't tracking him. So that's like a really interesting thing to note where it's like, okay, the player on the other team that is not on the ice every shift with this player that I am tracking, and I'm noticing them a lot more than the one I am, that's kind of notable. And with him, it's like the skating ability, the defensive positioning, there's a good level of skill there as well. Like he's a very intriguing player that I think has just grown on me over the course of the year that I did not expect. That said, though, I still have Carroll's and Rudolph higher. Carl's, I think, has a really good sort of passing ability. If he senses a loose puck in the neutral zone, he can really explode into the offensive zone and attack the offensive zone really well. Daxon Rudolph, I have him ranked now after that series. I see the it's interesting. Like I can't get it out of my head since we talked about it in office hours a few days ago or a couple weeks ago. But like Daxon Rudolph is a trampoline on ice. Like he is often in the right spots. If the puck hits his stick, it's very rarely on it for very long. He, for better or worse, will pop it to someone else. Sometimes it's a 3-line pass that springs someone for an offensive zone opportunity. Sometimes it's rimmed around the back of the net to nobody but the opponent. Like, it's kind of a live and you die by the sort of hockey sense that he has. And I know I've seen him carry the puck decently well and have some skill here and there, and he's got a decent shot from the point, but I don't see what a lot of people see there. And I feel like with the player that of the type that he is, it's just not something I'm super interested in. He's playing a lot with like his legs locked in the upright position, like a tray table on an airplane. Like he's very inactive and passive, and it's surprising to me that people are like sort of making excuses for it, where it's like, oh, he's just poised, he's in the right spots, he'll figure it out because yada yada yada. And I'm going, okay, fair enough, but like it doesn't pass my barometer really for in terms of like I'm using a top 20 pick on a defenseman, because I found Rudolph in the NTDP games. Like if you challenge him and if you attack him directly, that's when things get a lot easier for you and a lot more difficult for him. And that's a problem situation for me because I also just don't trust every shift being like a consistent, a consistent puck movers defenseman shift that I can rely upon. That I could say the same for with even a Carl's or a Lynn, or a Reed or a Villeneuve. And then I have Dravetsky down the board a little bit. I like his offensive zone game, but I've been really underwhelmed. I'll be honest with him, but I need to watch him again. I haven't seen him in a while. I've got on the watch list. I've got Sean Burrick, Tommy Blale, Noah Ta'amu, and Reese Hamilton as a reentry. Burrick, I just think is an interesting long-term bet. Like he's really big and really skates well. I think the hockey sense is a bit of an issue, just moving the puck and seeing the ice. Blale has been on fire recently. I love again like his offensive zone play. He's small, and I really am wondering about his ability to project to the NHL as a smaller defenseman. But I could easily see a very good college player there. And I've really liked him. I have a game of him that I've been meaning to do for a while, and I'll do that either tomorrow or Monday. Ta'amu is solid. I don't think there's a huge upside player there, but he's solid. And I like Reese Hamilton. Outside of that, I don't have CHL guys ranked right now. I know someone asked me, I think it was and Brian, asked me about Alexander Bilecki on Kitchener, and I watched a bit of him, and he's interesting, but I haven't seen enough to know whether or not I'd put him on the list yet. That's those are the CHL guys for me right now. Draft eligibles that you're most excited to watch at the World Juniors. Well, I mean, it depends on who is going to be there. So I guess a good proxy for it. I mean, McKenna will be obviously one that everybody is watching. Let's see here. Like McKenna's the one that everyone's going to be watching. That's pretty obvious. And So other than that, though, let's go. So the analog for the background, the analog, what I'm going to do here is, I mean, maybe Chase Reed is going to make a U.S. team. I don't think it's a certainty, but it's entirely possible. Um, so draft eligibles, where are we here? Okay, so I'm just going to elite prospects, just general international games, and filtering for guys who are draft eligible and looking at who is on the under 20 teams because they might be looked at for the World Juniors. I would assume that's the point. And there's a lot of them this year. Like Oliver Suvanto is one that I've adored this year. He's just worked up and up my board all year long. Adam Novotny will probably be there for Czechia, and he's also, I imagine he'll look pretty comfortable at that level. He's looked pretty solid, and I feel like when he's really pushing himself, he is, really on the right. When he's really pushing himself, he's one of the better guys on the ice, and I feel like at that level of competition, he will do just fine. Who else is in here? Viggo Bjork, I feel like, will be at the very least a strong contender to make the team, and I think again, like you see a guy who's playing men's hockey go back to playing junior hockey. They are clearly a step ahead of the competition in a lot of situations, and I think his playmaking and like I'm not worried about Viggo Bjork outside the offensive zone in the SHL as he is right now, which I did not expect to say going into this season, but that's kind of how I feel about him. And I feel like once you put him back against junior competition, that offensive zone stuff that is a bit of a problem in the SHL right now, I think will figure itself out and he'll be just fine and quite good. I would say Niklas Aram Olsen, but Norway isn't going to be there. Yeah, it's Denmark. Norway probably should be there, but they won't be. Stenberg, Ivar Stenberg will be one that I think everyone's going to watch. I can't wait for people to go, well, Ivar Stenberg did this at the World Juniors and Gavin McKenna did this at the World Juniors. How could you possibly think that yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. I'm sure that's also a thing that will come up. And then we get to the fun part here, just scrolling down here. I mean, Slovakia will have a fun group. You've got probably, I would think, Parenko, Nemec, and Gollier all going. Gollier is the highest. I mean, they haven't played that many games, but he scored a lot playing for the under 20 team. I would think that he'll be on that group come the NHL draft, or not draft, come World Juniors. And I love Adam Gollier. I think he's just the bee's knees in terms of like what a defenseman should be. Finland might have 2-3 defensemen on it that are draft eligibles. You've got Piparinen probably could be there. Svensk, I mean Svensk has played on the under 20 team and he's played some decent minutes for them. And he's been producing for that team as well. And I feel like with the skating ability and the sort of offensive abilities there, he I think could very well crack the roster just by thinking about who else is on that team this coming season. You'll have Kivi Harju there, right? Because he's an 06. But I feel like that's entirely possible. I haven't looked at the roster right in front of me yet, but that's possible. Actually, maybe I should just go to the Finnish under 20 team that's played so far this year and see if there's anyone, because I would like to see Svensk there. I really would, because I really, really like him, as we all know. Yeah, like looking at this roster, I could see him cracking the roster. I don't think a guy like Ossi Tukio will make it this year. Maybe, but I wouldn't be so sure of that. But yeah, I'm looking up and down this group of defensemen, and I feel like you could have a guy like Svensk on the roster. But anyway, what else is in here? Is there anything else worth talking about here? Piparinen, nope. Lars Steiner, I don't think will be there because he's been injured, but it would be nice if he were. He is certainly a lot of fun to watch. Definitely one of the more intriguing guys that I would want to see more of. William Håkansson might make the Swedish team, but I wouldn't be certain of it, but it would be nice to see him there because he's also quite good. But there's going to be a lot of good ones. I think it's a strong draft class for Europe. And I think a lot of them deserve a good look on the World Junior teams. All right. What has Burchild? Oh no. Yeah. What has Burchild done that has him in your first round? He was so good when he was with Shattuck St. Mary's. So a lot of it, it's a small sample, but a lot of it comes down to the NTDP series playing the CHL guys. Like he was one of the craftiest, most skilled, high pace playmakers on the US team. I still like Victor Plot, for example. I love Victor Plot as a player. I think there's a lot to work on, or a lot to chew on with him. Um, and I feel like with what's his name, with Burchild, for me it's a matter of like some people will get to the end of the first round and go, uh, he's some people might go to the end of the first round and go, well, I want a guy who we just feel like will be a bottom pair defenseman or a third or fourth line center or whatever, because you just like having those guys and we can move them along and we just want something safe and whatever. And fair enough, right? Like I understand that. And other people might look at the end of the first round into the second round and go, yeah, but like who has the highest upside here? Like who is the biggest difference maker that might be a little small and yada yada yada. And with Burchild, I see that as him as a strong contender there. Like I've thought this season he's been a little bit underwhelming because for a guy like that, he needs to, I think, be a huge difference maker every time he's on the ice. And I think you see him certainly trying to do that a lot of the time. And I like he's a lot of fun to watch. I think he's gotten better every time I've seen him over the course of this season. He seemed a little unsure of himself early in the year, a little bit slower than he needed to be, a little less, aggressive. But he really seems to be, attacking guys a little bit more, making plays at a little bit better time with a little bit better timing. And so for me, it's like I see a guy there where maybe I wouldn't draft him in the first round, but you wouldn't have to do much to convince me to take him pretty soon afterwards and just bet on his upside and the skill level and whatever. The thing I keep thinking of when I watch him, and this is throwing me way back to when I was a kid, well, not a kid, but like a young adult, many moons ago. But I sort of think and I go, well, is there like a Jordan Schrader type player here where Jordan Schrader at this age was an elite skilled player? Like a lot of people thought he was like a can't miss high end skill guy. And he was a very skilled player, and there was a lot of potential. And he did play in the NHL at some point, and you could make the argument that maybe he deserved a bit more of a shake. But there is such a thing as like you have to be really, really skilled and really, really fast and really creative to be that type of a player and produce enough in the NHL for an NHL coach to trust you. Because with Burchild, I don't know if I see enough of a defensive floor there, enough of an off puck floor where it'll for sure translate to the NHL, but I would love to see it happen because he's a lot of fun to watch. So it's a bit of a mushy area, right? Like we were talking about this in the office hours yesterday, but like it's so close. Like there are so many good players out there that bring something interesting that it makes it really, really hard to it makes it really tough to go, well, I'd rather have this guy than this guy or this guy over this. It's really hard for me at least at this moment because there's a lot of interesting players. And as is tradition with any NHL draft class, like around the first 20 names, it's like it really opens up. And last year it's like after 15 or so it really opened up, and there was a maybe group of 20 or 30 guys where I'm like, yeah, like I see something here. There's something curious, and I'm excited up until maybe the middle of the second round on my list. This year, I look up and down my list. I'm going to do it now. Like I see guys as low as my 60s into my 70s where I'm like, I see something about this guy that I could really get behind and really push one way or another. And that's not super common in my experience. And so with Burchild, it's like the ceiling is really strong, I think. And he's barely in my first round, but I could see him sticking in that range, maybe in the 40s by the end of the year, something like that. But it really just comes down to like as a group, how do you come down? I could easily see someone, for example, coming up and saying like, well, I think a guy like Adam Anderson has a better chance of being an NHL player because he's bigger, he's stronger, he's a better puck protector at a projectable level. He's got some good skating ability, blah 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 blah, but he's not there yet. Or a Maddox Dagenet, right? Like he's huge. I thought he was really good at the NTDP series. You might look at a Wyatt Cullen and see the smart playmaking and want to bet on that and yada yada yada. Marcus Nordmark for the same reasons. It's just a matter of like what you believe is going to work, and I don't know honestly because there's a lot of different players going on here that I think are all really intriguing. Thoughts on JP Hurlburt and where do you think he'll end up come draft time? Yeah, I mean Hurlburt, I was definitely keeping an eye on him in the NTDP games that I saw. I really wanted to see how he would perform at that level, and I thought he was fine. I don't think he was one of the best guys on the ice, really. Uh, and with Hurlburt, again, it's very similar to Burchild. Like I like Burchild a little more, like very slightly. They're like 10 spots away on my list or something like that. I think with Hurlburt, I'm less confident that it'll translate because I don't think he's quite as skilled. I don't think he's quite as much of a sort of high pace producer. I do find that Hurlburt is a very, very creative, a creative playmaker. Like I see Hurlburt very similarly to how I see a guy like McKenna, where I think they're not. I'm not saying they're comparable, but in terms of style of play, their impact at both ends of the ice, on and off the puck, like the strengths are similar, the weaknesses are similar, and they're similarly sized. And there's maybe some echoes there of a McKenna style profile in a Hurlburt, just like less skilled, less of a pinpoint passer, but still like those high level ideas and all of those things. So with Hurlburt, I just don't know if it's going to work in the NHL because, again, he's not very big. He's not the most involved defensive player. He just doesn't pass the checklist for me of like a smaller, creative, playmaking focused, skilled guy. I'm more akin to going in the NHL. I might think more north-south speed, more forechecking presence, more defense first, defense first, grindy approach to things. That's kind of how I've evolved over the last few years, watching a lot of the NHL and seeing how things work there. But as a complementary offensive piece that you could put maybe with the right group in the NHL, I could see it working and working pretty well. On the power play, you could use him then, and maybe there's something there. Like for me, he's in my early second, mid second round. I think there's an interesting amount of skill in his game. I just feel like he's a player that NHL teams might not make their first pick in the draft. Like I think they might look at him and go, but if there's a shred of doubt about a smaller skilled player, and I know Hurlburt is listed at 5'11, but he certainly doesn't look like it. If there's a shred of doubt about players like that who aren't elite skaters or truly elite skill, they'll look at someone else probably. And I think he might be a candidate for that. But as a second round pick that has a really good college career and whatever, I could see something there for sure. Have you seen Simas Ignatavicius playing in Geneva? Yes, I have. I've been watching him for 2 years. I like him. I've seen him in the first round. I think was at Hockey Prospect, and I don't know about that, but like I would love to see it because I like him. Are there any other draft eligible players from unusual places? I mean, none really that I've really taken a liking to. Like Arthur Hostain is interesting, but I wouldn't draft him, and he's French. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, Ignatavicius is definitely one for the Lithuanians. Doman Christoph Shongoth is Hungarian, and he's okay. Like he might be a late round swing. I'd love to see him in Liga, but I haven't yet. I don't think he's played there, but I really would like to see him there. Just because he's a physical guy who I think he needs to improve his skating ability. His feet are a little bit heavy and clunky, but there's something there, I think, maybe, but I haven't quite seen it yet. But other than that, I don't really know off the top of my head of anything like that elsewhere, let alone playing in those places. I don't think there's much there. Is Jackson Cover the next Easton Cowan? Seems very under the radar. I don't know about Easton Cowan, but Cover was really good the game we did of him. And I it's one of those guys where I have him a bit lower. I forget where I have him. Let me look here. Yeah, I have Jackson Cover at the end of my second round, but if the development team that I had on my staff or a bunch of other scouts or whatever, like if in my ideal scouting scenario, if I had my spies who interviewed him and his coaches and whatever, if they came back and went, this kid is incredible, like he busts his butt, he's working his tail off, he's doing all the things you want, he's a pro, like he's doing all for a kid who's played hockey for like 5 years, right? He's doing everything that he could possibly do to get better. I'd be like, all right, let's pull the trigger earlier than I would. Like, I would easily be considered to do it because of the way that he plays, right? Like, he plays a way that I think NHL coaches will value. He's physical, but he's not just physicality. He's got some skill to him. He's a grindy playmaker, but he also can sort of throw the puck behind his back on the rush and stuff. Like, he's got a lot of things where he's very crafty, but he's also very projectable. I think he needs to put on quite a bit of weight and strength in order to like play that style in the NHL. But considering where he's at in his developmental trajectory, I could very easily see him being a first round pick for someone at the end of the year. I think he's another guy like similar to a Verhoff, for example, where now you see one version of him, and by the end of the year, you might see a very different, more well-rounded and filled out version of that player. And the last few months there might be a lot of momentum behind them. Not saying there isn't momentum against or for a guy like Verhoff right now, but for a guy like Kovar, I mean that more. And I think with Kovar, yeah, like it was one of those games where it was kind of quiet for a while, and then something would happen, and you go, "Oh, that's why," right? Like I was like, "Oh, okay," like that rush or that grind, that physical play below the goal line. Like there's all these things that, as a complementary sort of Swiss Army knife guy, I think there's a lot there that he brings to the table that I think is really good. Easton Cowan wasn't really like that for me in his draft year. He was just and I think he still is, like strong competitor and an extraordinarily smart playmaker. Like his passing game is really good. He sees the ice really, really well. If you give him space and time, you're gonna regret it. And I think now in the NHL, you're seeing how that has been a benefit and a limitation in his game. But another player I do really like. Just wanted to say Sheldon Keefe is coping unbelievably hard that his team got outmuscled by Columbus. I didn't see that happen.
Sounds like Sheldon.
It sounds like Sheldon Keefe from time to time. Yes, he has his moments for sure of copage.
Miss you, Sheldon. Please come back. Please save this terrible team.
If never, I'm not gonna say it. Building a team like Colorado involves getting elite talent at the top of the draft, like McKinnon and McCart. Well, yes.
No, that's part of the battle.
That's part of it. Like
the Leafs did that, and they couldn't.
Yeah, look at
like, come on. It's about playing with speed.
They got Devon Taves for 2 second-round picks.
Yeah, a year, the year that Lou Lamoriello won GM of the year and made that stupid move. Like, this is how we know how stupid the league is sometimes.
Yeah,
you can make a boneheaded move like cap dumping Devon Taves, a guy who's gone on to be the D partner of one of the best defensemen of all time. Really, like, Kel McCarr is almost matching Bobby Orr numbers in the modern game against way harder competition, okay?
Yeah.
And Devon Taves is also an awesome, awesome player. And Lou Lamoriello was just like, yeah, let's get rid of this guy for 2 second-round picks, okay? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know.
But you need to play with speed. That's really what it is. And the Leafs had the talent to build up to like be a Stanley Cup contender. It's why they were always considered a contender, whether or not people thought of them as a paper tiger or not, which they turned out to be. But still had a tremendous amount of talent. They still do, really. They just don't play fast, and they don't play modern, and they get like hemmed in their own end because they can't get the puck in their own end.
Yeah, and I mean, it was mentioned in the chat just now too. Like, I think we said this at the time. At least I felt this way. I know I did. But the Rantanen for Necas trade, like, that was so perfect for them. Like, obviously, Mikko Rantanen is a very good player, but Martin Necas seems
awesome.
like the exact perfect type of player that Colorado would really
we did
value.
say it.
Not that Rantanen is not a player they would value, but I think Necas has added more of that dimension to them and just illustrated how valuable a player like that can be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure Carolina doesn't mind having Logan Stankoven, of course, right? Like, I don't know, right? But the point is that Colorado is probably the closest team to like how I see the game. And I know people who have worked there, and I know people who do work there, and they are kind of similar to me in a way, where it's like they see the game as a game of speed, as a game of intensity, as a game of quickness, and that's kind of the angle that they've taken, and like finesse. And so it's working. You know, they've won a Stanley Cup, which is more than a lot of teams can say in the last 5
and
or 10
they've been
years. Right?
one of the best teams in the league for half a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like Rantanen is a superstar, but he's not a burner. And Natchez is a burner, and I love burners. Like a good burner is, I think, infinitely valuable in the NHL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like a valuable thing where I look at Colorado and I go, yeah, like that's, you know, maybe they're not an undefeatable team, but they are pretty darn good, and they play a certain style that I think counters the way the meta in the NHL has been heading the last few years, and
Yeah,
I think we're seeing why.
and look at how let's compare the Leafs and the Avalanche again. All right, both teams lost star right wingers. All right, one was obviously able to trade theirs away and get value out of them, like more value out of them than the Leafs were ever going to get out of them. But like they weren't amazing last year. Like they were pretty good, but they had to like retool a bit, bring in like a guy like Brock Nelson to add more speed. They just leaned into what made their team so good more in the in this retool. And the Leafs went in the complete opposite direction, trying to get heavier and more physical and change the DNA to be tougher. And look what it's ended up with. One team is like ground pounding the entire league, just going on a tear. The other team is getting stomped on most nights and
being ground pounded.
Yeah, one team is ground beef. That's what the Leafs are. They brought in beef so they could become ground beef.
The other is sirloin steak.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at their roster now, and there's just so many guys on here where it's like just guys that I've loved forever, right? Like Nichushkin has been insanely good. Lehkonen, I've always loved Arturi Lehkonen. You know, I remember watching Parker Kelly with Ottawa and going, well, he's not doing a whole lot, but like I can see why he's a fourth liner, right? Like go around banging and crashing and smashing and do all that stuff and be annoying and, you know, just eat some minutes so Nathan McKinnon can catch his breath and be good at it. And I think that's a perfectly fine job. Jack Drury has always been an intriguing player. Again, like I don't look at a Jack Drury and go, the NHL must see this guy as a bottom six guy. But if I look at a guy like Jack Drury, I go, I could see how he could be a third or fourth line guy on a team that I would build, where it's like he leads with some skill. He's had a history of production. He's, you know, a pretty good sort of middle of the ice type player who is not necessarily known for being Scott Laughton, right? Like that's not his job. So for Colorado, like they're built in such a way, and they have Brock Nelson too on the team, who is also big, but I
speedy,
also think
but an old speedy guy.
Yeah, he is. And so their big offseason signing was Brent Burns. Like, you know, they've got Sam Girard on their third pair, and Sam Malinsky has been really good this year, and he's not a physical guy really either. Like, he's been more of a finesse defenseman.
And they brought in one Brandon Carlo and Josh Manson instead of bringing in, like, a ton of them, you know?
Right? Like...
You can have one of those guys.
Yeah.
You can't have... And I think that's where this whole philosophy gets, like you can have a Jake McCabe. You can't have a bunch of them.
Nobody is saying Jake McCabe is not a good NHL defenseman whatsoever.
No, but you can't have 6 of them.
Yeah. Well,
and then at varying levels of good.
Yeah, exactly. You can't expect every Jake McCabe-like player to be Jake McCabe. You know, it's just a lot of whatever. But in any case, I love how Colorado plays.
They're the best, and
yeah,
I want them to win more cups because it makes me look smart.
Yeah.
I agree with them.
Yeah. Jet Greaves has an argument to play for Team Canada. Hey, I think at this rate, I have a chance to play for Team Canada based on how good Team Canada's goaltending has been. So I don't care who Canada puts on the roster. And hey, if the arena is not built properly and the NHL chooses not to go to the Olympics, which would be absurd, by the way, not for the NHL's part, but like how disappointing would that be? People have been, you know, rightfully moaning and wailing for NHL players to be in the Olympics, and finally they come to an agreement to do it, and the Olympic organization in Italy botches the arena, and the NHL doesn't want to send their players. Like, it would be such a disaster. But I mean, hey, if there's no NHL players allowed to go to the Olympics, like give your boy a call. I played goalie when I was 6. I mean, how good is your group going to be if that's the case? I'm still of playing age. I have a bad shoulder, but it's my stick shoulder. My catching glove is still good. We got this
Scouching
going.
live from the ice. You just
my
stream your
GoPro.
perspective.
My GoPro strapped to my goalie
Will
mask.
getting
My
scored on
white.
27 times a game.
Yes.
And Nick Kiprios freaking out at you for being a terrible goalie.
I think I could hold the Italian national hockey team to at the most 10 goals.
All right, Italian national hockey team, call me up. I want to score on Will.
Yeah.
I can get my citizenship, but I have to serve in the army. But I would do that just to score on you at the Olympics.
Oh boy. We got an all caps question. Sick. What do you think of Michael Bronzek-Newgaard's production in the AHL? I don't know. What is it? Okay. It's great. I mean, he's a point a game. I'm not surprised. I thought people writing him off last year were very dumb. I thought this year he'd be the guy that would have Emmett Finney's job, but here we are. Emmett Finney is doing okay. I love Bronzek-Newgaard though. Like I think he's great, and I think he's going to be a great NHL player once he gets there. I see no reason to rush him if you think he's not ready yet. Detroit's doing just fine, really, without him. He has been in the AHL for a good long stretch after the start of the year, and I think that. Yeah, I think you could leave him there for the season, see how it goes. I want to do a video room on him at some point. We're going to start getting those going pretty soon. But he's got 8 points in his last 5 games. Like he's starting to get somewhere. And I think that once he gets used to the physicality and the speed of the North American game, which is, compared to where he's coming from in Sweden, might be not that bad of an adjustment. Clearly, if he's already a point a game, then there's something there. I really, really like him. I really liked him in his draft year. I don't know if he's going to be like a elite NHL scorer, but I think he could very easily be that like auxiliary. Like if he was on Colorado, for example, he could be that number 3 guy on a forward line with guys like I don't know, Nichushkin and something else or whatever, Brock Nelson, and do just fine. And I'm saying that only because it's like on my mind, fresh what that lineup looks like.
I just want to chime in for a second because I don't think I've actually mentioned this today, even though I probably should have.
Oh yeah,
game tape's out.
Yes, we did it.
Go watch game tape once the stream's done. I finally put one up. Let's go me. Ethan Belch's game tape. It was a fun one to edit. Not to I'm going to completely toot my own horn here. I forgot how good those are. Like how much fun I have watching them back after I edit them. So please help me get some views because
it is good.
I spend way too much. I put over 12 hours into every one of those episodes.
Yeah,
it feels
like too much work.
And it's great. Like I had so much fun doing it and telling Will that it would be out at a certain date and then pushing that back. I had so much fun telling him that every time.
The plan was while I was gone.
Yeah.
so yeah.
And I failed. I failed miserably.
But that only means that any evidence, it doesn't make you look smart, so it doesn't count, right? Like, so,
yeah. But please go watch it because I put too much time and effort into these to just be portfolio projects someday.
And I should also mention, as the ringleader of all this, thank you to Tony for helping as well. Thank you to Ethan Belchitz as well for helping us out. It's really cool.
And Rayanne.
And Rayanne Tubek for the graphic design, the Windsor
B-roll
Spitfires,
slides,
all that stuff. It's all great. Really, really great to see it all come together and something.
And Mathis Preston is next, and I have weekend overnight shifts, so I should.
It'll be out in February.
No,
probably.
It won't be out in February. Come on.
You say it's February, and then it comes out in January, and it looks like you did it really quickly.
I think it'll come out in the next 2 weeks is what I'm aiming for.
All right.
Okay. I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's a fair time estimate for me to give, and maybe it comes out in 3.
delay J strikes again.
No, stop it. I don't like this nickname. I don't like it.
Too bad.
No, it's a good nickname. It's a good nickname.
I forgot to turn my mic off for the drive-through order. Okay, so it was you. That was so funny.
That was amazing.
I can't remember what you ordered, and I wouldn't make fun of you at all anyway. But like, it was really funny. It was a good time.
This is the best. Do it again, please.
There will be cake. Oh, this is from Friday. I mean, I know where you live. So if you want to make the flight up to where I'm at and come have some cake, I don't have cake, but I did buy Costco cookies yesterday, so we could have milk and cookies together and do that. But otherwise, I ain't sending a cake to your house, man. I ain't paying for the shipping on that one. So if you want though, you can get your own cake.
And eat it too.
And eat it too. Exactly. Since August, who's been your biggest risers and fallers so far? That's a very good question because I don't know. Since August though, like, I mean,
maybe who'd you come into the season with high expectations that have come down, and then who you didn't have on your radar, who's
we'll go pre-Holinka,
sure,
and go from there. Like pre-Holinka coming out of last season, Tynan Lawrence has been significantly better than I expected. Who else?
Well, that's an easy one since he's at first on your list.
I'd say Albert Smits has rocket shipped up the list over the course of the year. I mean, I watched one game of him at the under 20 level and went, okay, this guy's a first round pick. I need to see him in Liga before I'm sure about it because this is hilarious. He just did whatever he wanted. Suvanto, I had no idea who he was before. I don't think anybody knew who he was before the Holinka tournament this year. He's been extremely good. Verti Svensk, I liked him going into the season, but I didn't expect him to be this intriguing of a player. I don't care how much people yell at me and scream at me for how stupid I am about him. I really love him.
People will yell and scream at you no matter what, Will.
Oh, of course, I know.
It's just because you're stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Casey Mutrin is another one I didn't expect to take as big a step as he has this year. Adam Gollier is another huge riser. I did not even really think about him much last year. I saw him at the under 18s, but didn't really think that much. But when I watched him with Slovakia in the Pro League this year, I've been blown away with how good he's looked there. And now he's playing like 20-25 minutes a night for that team, and that's pretty remarkable. I've been a little underwhelmed with guys like Novotny. Ryan Lynn, I would say, is another one. I mean, I was a little cooler on him going into the season, but I still feel like I've been a little lower on him than I was. Who else? There's not a whole lot of guys I think where I've been like, not so good. I did go into the season being really interested in Simas Ignatavicius, and I might have been overrating him a little bit, but I still like him. I think there's an interesting
likes the Baltic guys way too much.
Oh, big time. Big time. But yeah, I mean, another guy, I know I saw a question about this guy in the chat, which we're going to get to eventually, but Landon Ammerheim is a name that I'm surprised more people haven't yelled at me about, but he's at the end of my first round. I like this guy a lot. Like, I've been watching him since he was with the Dallas Stars 16U program, and I think I mentioned this on a show not too long ago, but he was the guy where in my notes, it's like, he's really big and definitely bigger than a lot of the guys on the ice here, but if you just assume he's big and physical and dominant that way, you'd be wrong. Like, I think Ammerheim's a guy who I would love to coach because it's like, I can see something there with his game. Like, he's a big, lanky, but like really skilled and at times really creative player that I think with encouragement and like time and patience and like, it's like understanding what he's capable of probably when he's really pushing himself and capturing that more often, I think he could be great. Like, I really like this guy. He's tall, like he brings a lot to the game that I think projects really well. And I think if he can sort of round his game out a little bit better, then there's a guy there that I didn't really expect to like as much going into the season. But when I watch him with Calgary, like I've really, really liked him as well. Lars Steiner, I was cooler on going into the season this year. I did not see much last year playing with Bill Zanon that I liked a ton. But this year, I don't know if he quite was like this as much last year, but this year he's a psychopath. Like, he is playing, he's kind of I don't know how to describe him, but he is one of the most physically intense players in the entire draft. He's all over the ice all the time, causing a ruckness, and just such a fun player to watch this season. And it's unfortunate that he got hurt, but I'd really like to see more of him by the end of the year, and he's a guy at the end of my first round that I just think is just a guy who in your bottom 6 is going to be a huge pain to deal with if you're the opponent. Great forechecker. I think he's also got skill and skating speed as well that he can really deploy well. So time will tell, but I like him as well. There's a lot. Things have shifted a lot, but that's normal for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments on the ceiling of Matthew Wood? I mean, I haven't seen much of him with Nashville this season, but I mean, I know there's a chatter in here who's a big Preds fan, and I think we would agree that he's kind of put in the job that he needs to have in order to be successful, and he's doing it pretty well. You know, he's a big offensive zone finishing type guy. Really good skill for a big boy, good shot for a big boy, and it's working out so far.
A big boy.
He is a big boy. The ceiling on him, like, I mean, again, like a complimentary scoring top 6 guy, I don't think is ridiculous. You know, he's got all the tools to do it. I think he's just another one of these guys where it's like it matters who he's playing with. You know, I think that's going to be a big thing for him in his career, but still a good player. Like, I think there's something good there. Adam Gollier thoughts. Yeah, Gollier, we talked about him a little bit, but I love him. I mean, he's young for the draft, but I think he is one of the more impressive defensive minds in the draft for a defenseman in this year's class. Like, I think his just ability to monitor lanes, manage gaps, you know, stick check, physical erasure, with flashes of skill, and his patience with the puck and his patience with his line mates and his ability to maintain possession, you know, take risks at the right times and keep things safe at the right times. He's just efficient as it gets, right? Like, there's just so much about his game that I've really liked to this point that the more I watch, the more I go, yeah, he might not maybe have the same kind of upside as a lot of other guys in this class, but I think he also kind of might. Like, but he's so reliable and so solid. And it does not surprise me that he's gotten good looks with the under 20 team this year, or that he was with the under 18 team last year. Like, he's just such a mature, smart defenseman that I've really liked. And he's on the list probably for tomorrow in office hours. So we're going to get to him then and have some fun. Okay, there's the comment right there. Yeah, King Kairos says Wood is incredible in the offensive zone and awful everywhere else. So in the right situation, he puts up huge numbers. Yeah, that's kind of what I expect. Yeah, all the CHL guys we talked about off the top of the show are going to get drafted ahead of Verdi Svensk. Absolutely, 100%.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Joel Quenneville is going to win the Jack Adams. It's possible. We'll see. The Ducks are on a bit of a heater, but yeah. Hope you had a great trip. Oh, Austin, hello, sir. Yeah, it was pretty good. Had a pretty good time. If you want to eat good food, you go to
Italy.
Cordoba.
Nope, you go to Italy. Fake news.
Okay, well, I didn't go to Italy, smart ass. All right.
You should have.
Oh, okay.
You should have seen that brand new Olympic arena that the NHL players are gonna play in.
What arena? It's not there yet.
That's the point.
I was watching Kosik the other day. I was impressed with his line mate Kuryachenkov. Yeah, I was actually watching him the other night too. Again, I like him. I think I have him ranked. I have him on the watch list, I think. Or I did. I think I took him off. But I mean, I think there's something interesting there. Really young player. Good puck protector. Good shooter. Definitely works off a guy like Kosik really well. I mean, he's a nice insulating guy. I haven't tracked any games of him yet, but at some point this year I want to. I just have so many guys I need to catch up on that are higher end, I would say. So he's a little bit on the back burner, but he is an interesting one. I think he's an intriguing one. Again, big, basic puck protector with some decent strength on his feet, and young and finishes well. Like, there's a lot of interesting things about his game that I like. He's, you know, is he ever going to be the best guy on my list? Maybe at some point, but there's other guys I think I've liked a little bit more. But yeah, like in terms of a physical player, I like a lot more about him than I did Kosik in that game for sure. How does Joe Iginla compare to Tej? Do you think he's going to climb draft boards as the season goes along, like Tej Iginla? You know, maybe. I have Joe Iginla ranked as a sort of early third type player, maybe a second round pick. And I do like him. I think he's another one of these guys where I think he's a little small, and I'm hoping if there's evidence that there's physical development in his future, like he's going to grow from here, which I don't think is impossible considering how big his brother is and how big his dad is and all that stuff. I don't think it's impossible. I think there's a good development case for Joe Aginla. He plays a very honorable game, I would say. Like you can really appreciate how he plays. I feel like coaches would love how he plays. You know, good plays under pressure, really strong skater. You know, again, it's similar to what we talked about with a few other guys. Like, is there enough there to like really push the game in the right direction consistently? But I could very easily see a middle six, bottom six center that could develop really, really well. And if you think the development curve is going to be really positive for him from here, which I would not disagree with, I could see you making a good argument for him being at the very least in the second round. And honestly, this year, if you can make yourself the case to be a second round pick in this class, I bet you could make a push for the first round. I think it's that good of a class that pretty much anybody in that discussion, I could see the argument for it. So I can't wait to see who the random guys that NHL teams find that are going to end up in that 30 to 60 range where you're going, okay, interesting, and then the rest is fun. Where were we here? But the answer to your question is yes. I don't think he'll climb as high as Tej did, though, personally. How much upside does Ammerhein have? I think pretty high. I think his floor as it is right now is pretty low. Like there's a lot of moments where you're kind of waiting for him to do stuff, but when he turns it on, man, he really goes. And I think that Ammerhein has a lot of upside. And he's another one of these guys where I went in watching him and tracking him where I'm kind of a little bit, you know, not super high expectations, just kind of seeing what's there. And he was really good. More impressive in isolated moments than I thought. And I think one thing I'm trying to do nowadays is really value guys where it might come and go, but there are moments where I go, oh, holy crap, I don't see many guys doing stuff like that, especially if they have an intriguing profile that should project pretty well to higher levels. Like it's like if I can see the argument for a good coach bringing them along well and them developing well, then I'll take it. If they can do the most impressive stuff in their game more often, they're going to be just fine. And I think he's one of those guys. Who has the highest floor? My 16 to 32. The highest floor? Piperinen, I think, maybe. Malholtra, Steiner, maybe Ryan. I don't know. Ryan Lynn, I think, has a pretty low floor. But yeah, I mean, I could see a smart NHL team finding it really hard to not find a job for guys like Mbuyi, Steiner, Malhotra, definitely Piperinen. I think Piperinen's got a really, really strong floor for a defenseman. Yeah, those are the ones that pop out for sure. Philosophical question. How do you define a center? Seems like most junior centers take faceoffs and then play winger positions in the defensive zone. Do you take defensive responsibilities into account? I mean, it's really hard because that's a coaching thing a lot of the time. Like defensive structures, you know, when do you switch out? When do you play man? When do you play zone? Like blah, 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 blah. A lot of that is not really often quite up to the player. You know, how players track guys, how much pressure they apply, you know, what's the structure, what's the system, how are they trained? That's kind of up to the coach a lot of the time. For me with centers, like a lot of it is more about the fundamentals of their game that I'm more interested in and their ability to, like, my big thing for centers is always transitioning the puck. You know, are they supportive defensively? I don't need them to be the most physically intense guys out there, but do they help their defensemen and do so productively? But then once the puck is on their stick, what happens? Right? Are they skilled enough to receive passes effectively from line mates? Are they good enough to see the ice to transition the puck really well, either through their feet or their hands? Ideally, both. You know, I look at centers as like the glue sort of that holds a line together. Really, like a 5-man unit together, right? I think they're a huge role player in that regard, right? And I really value guys who can sort of command the middle of the ice. And then from there, it's like I kind of weigh things based on, you know, what do they bring in the offensive zone? How reliable are they in general? The defensive zone play, all that stuff. It's just a matter of like getting to the finish line with those guys and like the overall rounding out of their profile. I think that makes a huge difference. It is really hard for me, at least, to pick through what is a coaching thing, like what's a systems thing, and what isn't. But I do think that special teams are a huge systems thing, but like rush offense is often a systems thing a lot of the time. But defensive structure and all that stuff, like how you play cycles and all that, that can be really hard to get a good read on. So I try not to worry about it too much and just kind of trust that a good coach will deploy them well. And if they're quick, that's, like it's a big reason why I think I look at Toronto and I go, I don't know if it's just a Berube thing. Like it's like, are they quick enough to sort of keep up with modern NHL offenses, right? Like is the personnel good enough or quick enough, right, to do it reliably?
And I understand that, but I would also say that Craig Berube had a chance to play Timothy Liljegren and sent him to the Shadow Realm. So it is also his fault for wanting to play this style of BS hockey.
All of the above is possible.
So fire Berube, fire Brad Treliving.
Which players feel like Hurricanes picks in this draft? Well, filter for Russians. I'm half joking. But for Carolina, like, I don't know. Like, what picks do they have this year? Let me look it up. Let's see here. The Carolina Hurricanes, they have a first and 2 sixths. So not much, but they have a first round pick. And if they have a first round pick, I mean, it's probably going to be a late first round pick. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
We'll find out closer to like generally March. We'll know who's going to be the Hurricanes guys,
or at least who's going to be available there, because the Hurricanes are obsessed with value.
Yes, they are. They're going to trade back. They're going to look for guys who they think are.
They're going to trade down 7 times.
Yeah. That's how they got Timur Mukanov, right?
Yes, they're going to end up with $70 billion third round picks. That's what's going to happen.
That was one of the easiest picks we ever made. Was Timur Mukanov. That guy's a Carolina Hurricane.
Well, I texted someone in Carolina during the draft that year, and I went, "You guys are so drafting Mukanov, like it's just going to happen." And he went, "Yeah, not yet." I went, "Okay," and then they picked him like half an hour later. And he went, "Okay, now we're doing it." Like, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was sitting with a college friend of mine. And I was showing him because I had Instat at the time. And I'm like, "Watch this guy." He's like, "Oh, I like this guy." I'm like, "Watch, he's gonna be Carolina Hurricane."
Yeah.
Just you wait. And then he was, and the guy messaged me. He's like, "Yeah, you were right." I'm like, "Yeah, I know how they think."
How did they know? How did they know? How did they know? But now he sucks. That's unfortunate.
I should have put all my savings on that. Could you imagine? It probably wouldn't have even been a line on that.
Yeah. Oh, my computer froze.
You look fine to me on stream.
Oh, there we go. We're good. We got it. Yep. Weird. I don't know what that's all about, but weird. What's the next
Carolina
one?
Hurricanes telling you to stop sharing their secrets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I know all of them.
What's his face? Tulski just DDoSed your PC.
Yeah.
Not even your internet. Not even your internet. Just your PC.
Computer. Yeah. He guessed my password. My password, which is password.
No, which is I love the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah. No, that's what he changed it to. That's what he changed it.
No, Mukanov rocks is what the password is.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. What do we got here? Okay, next one. Which company will be the first to $10 trillion?
Scouching, just help us get us there.
Yeah, Scouching.
We're actually closing down the scouting business and announcing our deal with the U.S. government for all this grants with AI. So invest. And,
we're starting our own quantum computing company.
Yeah.
And we're gonna just start saying things that make no sense.
To keep up with our draft rankings, that's how we're gonna do it. Is we're gonna have coins for all the prospects Will likes, and depending on how pumped those stocks are, that's how likable or that's how much Will likes the guy. So Tynan Lawrence coin going to the moon. All right.
We're actually building an army of Twitter bots that will just pump out Scouch coins. So if you give us like 6 months, we're gonna pump that up to $10 trillion, and then I'm gonna buy the world, And then we're just gonna all have a great time. We're gonna all just.
Then we're gonna buy the Toronto Maple Leafs and actually win a cup.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would be something.
To actually answer the question, I mean, I don't know. $10 trillion is a long way away, but I don't know. Maybe Google. Google is doing, or Alphabet, I should say. They're doing some interesting stuff over there, maybe. But I don't know.
Or invest in whatever country I'm playing as an EU4. That always has a good chance of getting to 10 trillion.
Yeah.
There's sometimes I'm playing EU4 and I can't spend the money fast enough. Like, I legit have you ever hit the max cap of money in EU4?
No.
Oh, I've hit it many times.
No, I haven't. I've been too busy playing Anno 117 and building cities quietly in my Roman paradise. That's what I've been busy doing these days.
Oh, nice. I gotta get that game.
It's really good. Honestly, like, I know people have been like a little bit mean about it because there's like, I think if you trust the company, they got one AI generated image put into a loading screen and everybody went, oh, this game is AI generated, blah, 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 blah.
Whatever.
But like, number one, AI has been in video games since literally day one. It's just, different.
I've been playing AI since I was 3 years old, okay? When I
Right.
started playing Age of Empires. Didn't mean it was smart AI.
It's like, oh no, what are we going to do about all these people who paint board games now that we have computer games? It's like, well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, nevertheless, the game itself is actually really good.
Sick.
I enjoy it a lot, and yeah, there's
Are we gonna do another EU4 stream at some point?
Maybe, potentially, if people want it.
I would love to. I had so much fun, especially when we did the timeline looking at the timeline, and I played Lubeck, and I'm just this small oval, just ballooning into this vast German swath of territory, took over all of Scandinavia. It was hilarious watching you be like, "You did all of that?"
Yeah. Why do you think it hasn't worked for Luke Misa at Penn State? I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I've watched him there a few times because I am also pretty baffled at how limited he's been. I mean, he's not playing a ton. I think he's playing on their third line. I don't know if they're putting him at center because that's always where I would play him. Yeah, he's playing like 10, 12 minutes a game, which is not really going to get him going. And I'm not saying that he deserves to play more, but I mean, when I do watch him, I still see a future for him there. Like, I still think that there's a good player there. It's just going to take some time. I don't think he's getting power play time with them either, and that also can make a big difference. I don't know. I'm not super concerned because he still brings everything to the game that I want to see out of him. He's such a great forechecker, and I think it's just I don't know. Like, I just know I've seen the playmaking out of him, and it just hasn't been there yet. I don't know. Maybe he's a guy that needs some time to get going. I don't know, but I'm not super concerned. I don't know. I still really like him.
And give him time, right? Like, he was also a 5th round pick, even though, right? Wasn't he a 5th round pick?
Yep.
Yeah, even though he shouldn't have been. Like, he should have gone way higher, but it takes a lot of time for guys to develop too, and you never know what's going on in their personal lives that can cause them to not play as well for a season. So we'll see. Yep. Just hope for the best and believe in the talent that is there.
And he turned 20 like a week ago.
Oh, he turned 20? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he turned 20 like a week and a half ago.
Then he's fine.
Yeah. All right. Seems Cullen Potter's turned it on. Yeah, you're dang right he has. He's got 11 points in his last 10 games. He's up to 14 points.
He's a god. We love Cullen Potter. Potter Coin, rather. Coin, not
10
coin.
trillion. Here it comes.
Yeah, it's the 10 trillion for sure.
Yeah, 10 trillion. No, I mean, Cullen Potter's been always a very effective player, so I'm very happy that that's come around on him, and I hope it continues. Yeah, Team Canada was insane before Celebrini Bedard, and yeah, Schaefer is going to be a tough. Yeah, I mean, Team Canada for the Olympics, it doesn't almost matter who's going to be in net if they go, assuming they go.
Should Matthew Schaefer make that team? That's something I haven't thought about, but it's possible.
I would consider it.
I would consider it. I'd do it. I think I would do it.
Yeah.
Did you know I know him?
I didn't actually. You should tell me every detail that you've ever.
No,
yeah.
I love saying it like I actually know him, but I really don't. I just met him once and did a game tape on him. Go watch that.
Yeah, do it. All right. Is Stenberg having the best draft eligibility season in history? Matthews did his in the National League in Switzerland, which is worse than the SHL Line A. I mean, I don't know about best draft eligible season in history. I mean, in my opinion, that would be Connor Bedard. Bedard's last season with Regina was, I don't know, I was gonna say a swear word, but insane. Like it was insane. Like he was the team. Like he was Regina. Like it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
He was.
If we're talking,
was incredible. That
if we're
team's
talking,
so bad and still so bad. Yes.
If we're yeah, yes, they are bad. If we're talking like if we're talking like European professional draft eligible seasons, I mean, Barkov was pretty good when he was 17. I remember Barkov that year. He was pretty good. But Stenberg has been also excellent. I mean, William Eklund also had a really good start. Like he was a point a game in the SHL up to this point in his draft year, right? Like a lot of people forget he was exceptionally good the first half, and then I think he got hurt and then didn't quite look the same for the rest of the year. But at the end of the day, still a really good season. But I mean, Stenberg has been very, very good. Like that, there's very few holes to really poke in his game. I think there's a lot to like about him. It's hard to poo poo anything about his game. But yeah, he's been very, very good. I think a lot of his early production came as like power play secondary assistant stuff, but it's funny because like watching him play, you go, I feel like there's more to come in terms of points, it hasn't happened at 5-on-5 yet, but you can see how it will happen. And now it's kind of regressed back to probably where it should be. I mean, look, I think the world of Stenberg. I mean, at the top end of this year's draft class, I don't really know how to make sense of a bunch of those guys and where they should go. But Stenberg is, if you wanted him at 1, I can see why. I would absolutely see. What else do we have here? Yeah. So we're going back to coming up from a $2,000 trip for milk and cookies for tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, look, if you have the money, if you bought Scouch coin, you would have the money to do it. So get
stupid. Come on,
idiot.
Buy Scouch coin.
Yeah, buy it. Buy. Yeah. Speaking about Oliver Savanta, was he a first round pick? Yes. How good are his metrics defensively? Well, I have a game of his that I need to do, so I'll have a better idea then. But I believe they are extremely good. Yes, they are very good. He's an excellent forechecker, very physical. There's a lot to like about him. He's been quite good. I mean, I think he's a first round pick, no brainer. Especially because he's almost eligible for next year's draft. Like, imagine he was doing this, but like was born in November. Then he would be 2027. And I think people would be like, who's this random kid playing in Finland who's scoring points and being gigantic? Like, he's just a beast. Like, he's just an animal, and I love it. Thoughts on Ryan Leonard? Is he still just being Ryan Leonard? Like, I know that he's a big reason. I mean, he is a part of the reason Washington is still at the top of the food chain here. He's got 18 points
when I saw him in one period I watched of Washington Toronto as they collapsed.
I see. He had a 4-point night yesterday, so that's where this is coming from.
He has to be the most incredible player on planet Earth.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like when I've seen Ryan Leonard, which was mostly in the preseason this year, I'm not going to be honest. I haven't seen a ton of Washington this year. I don't think at all. He's still like the thing with me is, again, he's another one of these guys where it's going to matter who he plays with. I don't know who he's playing with. It's going to matter who he's playing with, and he's going to bring some stuff that makes a big difference. And he's going to bring some stuff that I think other people are going to need to help him out with. But it was no doubt that he was going to project to the NHL in some way, and do just fine. Like, the physicality of his game is really strong. Yeah, he's playing with McMichael and Brandon Duhaime recently, so that works. I don't know how, but it's working. Who did he play with last night? Nick Dowd. Weird. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm happy for any player that is in the NHL and doing well. So, yep. Overall, he seems to be doing just fine. Overall. What are we doing? What do we got here? Have you watched the rest of the CHL USHL challenge? Or yes, the USA challenge. Yes, I have. What do you think about Chad Legitsakos? I like him. I just don't think he's an NHL player. Like I think he's a really fun, skilled guy. Beginning of the year, I really liked him. The more I saw of him, the more I just kind of was a little bit of a doubter. Still one of those guys where I don't want to not have him on the list because he's one of those guys where it's like, oh, there's been some wow moments, right? Some really impressive moments that are really good. But I don't know. It's not, he hasn't like blown me away in a way where I'm going, yeah, 5'8" guy that I think is going to be an NHL player for sure. I don't see that just yet. Ovechkin's on pace for 40 goals. I want to see if he legitimately could chase 1,000. I would love to see that. I don't know. I'd love to see it. I don't, the guy just keeps going. I don't know. And you just got to see how far he can take it. It's one of the most fascinating careers, I think, in NHL history, if not the most fascinating, just based on where he was when he was young, where he is now, how long he's been around, how much he has scored, how he has scored, how, like, it still baffles me that there isn't on the power play someone literally standing next to him at all times on the power play in 2025. Like, just negate his shooting threat. Who cares? Play a 4-on-3 elsewhere and just have a guy stuck to him, you know? You're killing a penalty anyway, so take him out of the equation. But whatever. I mean, he's still scoring goals, so good for him. I mean, I'm not gonna, yeah, it's been insane. AJ, do you think it's over for the Leafs for the next 10 years?
No, 10 years is insane. Come on. This year, yes. But we'll see what happens. Please fire Berube and Tree Living.
It is I'll say this, it's a critical inflection point. Like, it is a critical
Have you ever watched
situation.
Community?
Yes.
Do you remember Garrett?
If I see his face, I might.
Well, there's a specific episode I'm thinking of. And
yes, Garrett. Yes, I remember.
Crisis alert!
Yeah.
That's what this is.
It's critical. Like, the situation they are in right now is critical.
It is.
They either figure it out somehow and become a contender, or you might see them discombobulate and
maybe it is Jover for 10 years.
And maybe it is, right? Like, I don't know what I would do if I were Brad Treliving to save them. The only thing I can think of logically is that somehow, in the name of God, the group in that room can pull it together themselves. Like, and if they can't, you know, my confidence in that is a little shaky. But if they can't, I don't know, because there's nobody coming to rescue them. They have no draft picks. They have very little capital with which that realistically, like, and this is kind of a problem with being a Toronto team, is everybody knows everything about you. If the second Austin Matthews hits the open market, everybody is looking at it and going, well, you have to convince him to waive his no movement clause. And he's damaged goods at this point. So why would I offer you what he might be actually worth? Other teams, there might be a bidding war, maybe. But, you know, if everybody knows that there is a serious problem and they are burning it to the ground or whatever, then maybe it just won't help them as much as you would think immediately. I don't know. But it's rough. It's a rough situation. I wouldn't want to be in it. And I think right now the prayer to all of the gods out there, all of them, from Minerva to the Shinto gods of Japan.
Minerva. Do people know who Minerva is?
It's the god of wheat.
It's the Roman equivalent of Athena.
Oh, is it? I thought it. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, you're right. She is. Yes. But anyway, maybe she can help. I don't know. But they need God to intervene, I think, at this point, or a god to intervene and go, no, you guys have figured it out, you know, like that. And Joseph Woll wins a Vezina trophy or something like that, and it works out. I don't know.
And no. Stolars and Woll win Vezina trophies. That's how good they have to be.
Yeah. I don't know. But I also just watch that team play, and then I watch other teams play that are actually winning games, and I go, they don't look anything like that
They
team.
don't.
They don't look anything like those teams. Not at all.
They kind of didn't even when they were good, to be honest. But at least they were holding the puck in the offensive zone.
Kind of, sort of, maybe, but yeah. How do you feel about Brad Lambert these days? I remember you were really high on him his draft year.
We still like him.
I still am. I think it's another situation.
Go get him, Brad Treliving, please.
I think it's another situation of like useful, like the use that you're using the player in, right? Like I remember, like, again, it's not like guys forget how to play hockey. Guys, generally speaking, it's like they don't completely fall off a cliff in their careers at 22 years of age, right? And what did Brad Lambert do the moment he hit the AHL? He had a great year. Like, he was great. And ever since then, Manitoba has not been very good. I remember looking into his data from last year and watching some tape of him last year, and there's a lot of evidence that in terms of generating offense on that team, he was the best guy on that team. It's just a matter of like having finishers on his line and a consistent team quality that whatever. And I think with Lambert, though, what I also will say is that watching him in the NHL when he has played this year, there is, I think, a level of immaturity in his game that is a bit of a problem, right? Like, poor shot selection. I think he is trying to do a little too much all by himself. And I feel like the thing about Brad Lambert is like I still always just go back to what I saw when he was playing with Jyväskylä, because that to me was like the Brad Lambert that if I were coaching him is what I would want. You play him at center. I think at the wing you're taking away everything that makes him special. And I think I'd play him at center, and as a guy who found open space on breakouts, got moving extremely quickly, and dependably and reliably moved the puck up the ice and worked with their wingers, even in a dump and chase system, right? And he had some finishing ability himself. It was all there. All the ingredients were there. And then he left. He moved to his hometown again in Lahti. They put him on the wing. He looked terrible. The team was terrible. Everything went downhill. Then he went to, I think he was playing center in Seattle, and he was very, very successful there. Mm-hmm. The point is, I think it's a deployment thing. Again, like, I know the Winnipeg Jets they clearly see him as not an option down the lineup, really. Like,
and they also are not a good team right now.
And they're not playing very well. So for me, it's like, I understand why at this point he might go, I want a fresh start. I want to start something else because it's not happening here. And look at the track record for Winnipeg with their draft picks, right? Like Ville Heinola, run out of town, and his career went down the toilet because of how long he spent toiling in the minors, no matter what he did in the NHL. I remember the Sami Niku train. I remember that. He had some good games in the NHL, and they just kept sticking him in the AHL where he was really, really good down there, and it just didn't work. Like the Winnipeg Jets have a real, I think, issue with young players that they drafted themselves, putting them in the NHL, because the ones that they have done that have stuck are the big, heavy physical defenders, guys like Dylan Sandberg, Logan Stanley, and that's kind of it, right? Like that's kind of it. And so is it a disconnect between the NHL's vision of the team and how they draft and develop? I don't know. But it seems like they have a bit of an issue there. And so for Brad Lambert, like, I could easily see it's like a Gavin Brindley thing. Gavin Brindley, everybody was telling me that he was not good. He fell off a cliff with Cleveland last year. He was not going to make the NHL. He was done. He was cooked, yada, yada, yada. He was involved in a cap dump trade. And now he's on the best team in the league. He's injured right now.
More stupid people not believing in Gavin Brindley because that guy is awesome.
Like, and it's a different situation on a team that is better, right? So it's like, I would say that Lambert on the right team could be a fit in the NHL lineup. There's some stuff that I think he needs to like show that is a little bit more beyond in terms of maturity.
But could you imagine this guy? Like, think about this. What if the Leafs are just like, you know what? This year, we're not that good. So let's retool this year. And you add a Brad Lambert, okay? You get back a Timothy Liljegren, please. Please go do that.
It won't
happen. But like, these are the kind of players that you need to identify as an organization who are being undervalued and underutilized, and then put them in your roster and succeed with.
I think with him, it's a matter of you need to put him. I just don't see him as a winger. Like
He's a center.
He is so much less effective when you take away open ice from him, and I feel like as a center, that's kind of his strength. And so if you put if you trade a 4th round pick for him and you put him on the wing, it's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work. But if he was like the 3rd line center on a team like Colorado,
oh God, oh God, could you imagine him with Gavin Brindley?
I could see it.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
You know, like I could see that working, right?
That's a Stanley Cup waiting to happen, like with the team they have in front of them.
We'll see what happens with him, but I'm not too concerned because
he'll end up working out.
It might not work in Winnipeg, but yeah, I mean, and again, like I think about it this way too, like, and look at Nick Robertson. Nick Robertson was kind of
the next guy I was thinking of.
Nick Robertson was the Brad Lambert of the
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Of the Toronto Maple Leafs for like 5 years,
and he still is really.
And he asked for a trade like 7 times. And the Leafs did not trade him, and they you know, and only now at the age of what, 25, right?
24.
He's 24. Only now is he getting a good opportunity
because of players are injured, and it's stupid. You know? He should have always had the opportunity, like like within the last 3 years or so, I think.
So in any case, it's not over. But yeah, I think with Lambert, it's like I can understand why he would want to move out of Winnipeg. I think a smart team that gives him a reset and an opportunity.
Can you imagine him on Carolina? Like that would be That would be gross. Don't they need a 2nd line center?
Sure. Yeah. Also to the comment that just came in, like wingers also playing open ice. Yes, but that's not what I mean.
Not the same way. He's the transition guy. Like he carries the puck and he's going to do some really awesome stuff. And I'll let you.
His game along the boards is not a strength.
No.
And wingers by default they play along the boards. Like that's their position, right? For Lambert, if he's in the defensive zone, right? If you think you've got 2 forwards and 2 defensemen, or 2 forwards and 2 defensemen, and your center's in the middle, right? He's got open ice to play with, right? These guys are going up the ice. You give him the puck, and he gets it up to here or whatever, right? Like this is the job Brad Lambert does really well in the games that I've seen of him over the years. And so if you have him like up here, and he's trying to grind the puck along the boards here, or if you're in the offensive zone, and he's down low or something like that, it's not where he's beneficial, right? Yeah, okay, Nylander, but like if you ask me, I would have really pushed Nylander at center for years. Like I think you could have gotten the Tim Stützle curve out of William Nylander if you just played him at center. Like he's obviously a fantastic winger, but his 2-way numbers for years have been exceptionally good. Why? Because he is such a good open ice player and a really good passer. He stitches the ice well together, which you can do on the wing. But I think those players that play like that should be rewarded with even more open ice up the middle of the ice, right? That's just, to me, a fundamental philosophical difference, I think, between me and a lot of coaches and people.
Where is he a lot of the times when he's scoring his goals? Up the middle of the ice because he's springing himself forward on a breakaway, right? Like he manufactures open ice for himself because he's that brilliant of a player.
Yep. I mean, I again, like but like you're mentioning Kucherov, Pasternak, Kaprizov, that's not Brad Lambert.
Yeah,
like
no, it's not.
You're talking about and also all 3 of those players are fundamentally different players.
Very different players.
I'm not sure what you're.
And then Brad Lambert too, like. So, like Kucherov's not the transition guy. That's what Braden Point's there to do, because he plays in open ice and he he gets the puck, bursts up the ice, and then finds Kucherov a lot of the times, and then Kucherov finds him again, crashing the net sometimes, or Kucherov's a one-touch guy. Brad Lambert is a carry the puck kind of guy. Pasternak, he's not as fast as a Brad Lambert, I don't think either. And he also has, like, not that he's a one-touch guy as well, but he has his moments of one-touch brilliance where I think, like, Brad Lambert's more needs a lot of touch is to do stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, like, again, it's like have a belief and like I watch a ton of hockey. I have a philosophy and a belief of how the game functionally and fundamentally should operate. And in that system that is in my head about how this game operates, a guy like Brad Lambert should be able to be successful
and be a very valuable player at that.
Yes, right, or at least
second line center.
Really. At very least in your middle six, up the middle, and transitioning the puck really, really well.
Yeah.
Look at Murat Kuznetsov in Boston right now, right? Like, he is a very similar style of player where it's very transition heavy, it's very speed heavy. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but you notice him every time he's on the ice. So for me, it's like, I don't know. I maybe he is bad, right? Like, maybe he'll never work out, but like,
disagree.
we can't like also kid ourselves and go, he was so good in Seattle. He did all that he did there. He was so good in his rookie season in Manitoba. He was so like, but then he just never really got a fair shake in the NHL. He was put on the fourth line as a winger and like, and in and out of the whatever. And it's like, I don't know. I can understand why he might want to move, and I can also understand, based on how he plays, why there might be opportunity for him on another team that's willing to give him a 20-game run, right? You give him a long stretch where you trust him, and you let him make mistakes, and you let him do the thing, and you let him play, and you see how it goes, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think so. I think that a guy like that, like, look at we just talked about Colorado, right? Like, he's a Colorado Avalanche style player.
Absolutely.
And they're the top team. They're the top team in the world, right? Like, they're the like, career similar to Drouin, right? Like, yeah, Drouin has turned out to be, I mean, he's a winger, but like a pretty darn good NHLer over the years, right? Like, not amazing and maybe not a third overall selection level player, but people were talking about Drouin like he was a overconfident, cocky loser who didn't deserve a job and entitled and all that stuff. And now he seems to be doing just fine, right? So I don't know. In any case, I'm not. You have to kind of trust that you have to kind of trust the process on this kind of thing, right? It's not going to work out for everybody. Opportunity is going to be different for everybody on different teams. It's all just going to be, oh yeah, like, there's the other thing too. Look at with Ehlers. Ehlers in Winnipeg was always like a middle six winger. And it's like, and now he's in Carolina and he's so good. Like,
he was always that good.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So it's like, all right, and also look at Winnipeg. They lose Ehlers, and look at them now, right? Like, anyway, it's I don't know.
Nick Ehlers is a god. That's all it means.
There's smoke there. There is smoke to this kind of a philosophy of the game, right? Like, it's anyway. I don't know how I don't have the biggest sample size. Oh wait, where are we here? Oh my God, there's okay, we'll go through this. Why were some people not as high on Kindle as you were? Because he's small. He is small and not incredibly fast. I don't know. You'll have to read their reports on him, but I think it's because people saw him as small and not the elite skating guy, or the physicality in his game wasn't incredible. Like, that's kind of the only weaknesses I saw.
Or because they're dumb. No, I'm just kidding. It's just more fun to say it in a black and white kind of way. Let's speed through these.
Yeah, Alphonse Frey thoughts. I know you were high on him on draft day. I still really like him. It's going to be hard to speed through the rest of this, because he is an interesting one, because I actually have seen a couple of games of him in the SHL. And I think it's another really good example of, like, the big thing people yelled at me about was he was ranked right around where Zane Parekh was ranked for me. And everybody was like, how could you possibly have that as the case? And everyone now, I can imagine, is looking at Zane Parech's in the NHL. Alphonse Frey has 0 points in the SHL. But I watch Alphonse Frey and I go, he's an extremely efficient player. The puck has just not gone in. Like, I don't really care that much about defensemen and points. It's not really a big thing for me. Look at Dmitry Simashev. He's got like 1 point this season, right?
That sounds like Dmitry Simashev.
Right. But he's a good defenseman. Like, Zane Parekh is not able to keep a job on one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league, right? Like, they're not playing him really, right? And it's not me saying like he's no good, but the way people talked about him, it's like he was gonna hit the NHL and be Lane Hudson, and it's like there were holes in his game that exist and still do that I was skeptical of, that left me thinking I have concerns about Frey as well, but the fundamentals of his game, the baseline as a defenseman playing that position, I thought were more projectable and more reliable, such that maybe not this season, but like if you put Frey in the NHL right now, would he be in a similar role or spot as a if you swapped him with Zane Parekh, right? Would he be the type of defenseman who is on Calgary, maybe in and out of the lineup? He'd probably be in the AHL, to be honest, but like in and out of the lineup, struggling to maybe earn a full-time job and yada yada yada, right? Maybe I could see that happening because of the skating ability he's got, the stick checking ability, the positioning, the passing ability. Like there's all so much there that I adore about his game. And so I don't know. Again, it's like just because someone doesn't have any points doesn't mean I'm jumping off the wagon because, whatever. Like it's a matter of seeing what they're capable of when they are on the ice and what is happening. And when I watch a guy like Frey, he's not perfect, like there are some physical moments where you can lose battles, and that's not unusual. But, I don't think he's playing on the power play in there. And the SHL is an extremely hard league. Like it is really hard. And so I'm not super concerned because his game is more about transition, skating, moving the puck. And he does have a pretty good shot from the point, and that has been used quite often to zero effect. So on paper, at least. So we'll see. But I'm not super upset about it at all, because when I watch him in the SHL, I still really like what I see. All right. Is there an LJ Mooney in this draft class? I think the closest thing might be Lars Steiner. That might be the closest thing. What food is overrated? That's a good question. I don't know.
Just something I don't like, probably, but it's kind of hard to say if it's overrated or not.
Yeah, because also I feel like people don't like a lot of the food that people really like is not necessarily. I don't know.
I feel like it's easier to say what food is underrated, like octopus. Yeah. Everybody should love octopus. Octopus is delicious.
It is, yes. I don't know. A lot of like traditional British pub food I'm not crazy about, but people seem to like it.
Like what?
Except for fish and chips. Like I don't know, like Yorkshire pudding.
You know what?
You know, like fish and chips. Oh no, man.
Fish and chips is lame.
I'll eat it every day if I could.
Nah, that's overrated. Actually, that's my answer. Fish and chips.
There you go. Yeah.
Not into it.
I
love fish, but not that.
What Italian food is overrated or overhyped? For me, chicken parm. I don't think that's actually an Italian food, is it? I think that's an Americanized Italian
probably
food.
is, but I had chicken parm yesterday. It was awesome.
Hate it.
Nope. What?
Pass. Nope.
You're a moron.
Nope.
You're not a moron for liking Brad Lambert, but you're a moron for not liking that.
It's breaded fried meat in tomato soup on pasta.
Tomato sauce.
Whatever, but it's like a gloopy. It's like
with cheese with Parmesan cheese on it. Are you forgetting the greatest ingredient? That is Parmesan cheese.
No, I know, but
it's amazing.
It's fried, crispy outside meat that's soggy in tomato slop and on pasta.
That's because you're not Italian. You don't have it cooked right. Even if it isn't a real Italian thing.
Nope.
Italian people still make it better.
Nope.
Yep. You hate turkey, and that's crazy to me. You're a nut bar for not liking turkey. Turkey's delicious. Like I always say, people who don't like turkey, whoever was cooking turkey doesn't know what they're doing.
I won't dispute that, but I don't like it. My family has also not done a turkey at any major.
Because your family doesn't know how to cook turkey. It's as simple as that. Turkey's amazing.
You can tell that to my dad, and he will rip your head off and stuff it up your butt.
I'm sure he will. Will he ban? Does he also own Microsoft, and will he ban my IP?
Yeah. Thoughts on Ilya Morozov? I think he'll be some kind of a player. I just don't think he'll be like amazing. He's physical, big. I've got a game of his too to go through in the next week, so ask me again in a week. In reference to Luke Misa, some guys just need good fits. Jaden Perron has been very good in Michigan. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
People were poo-pooing Jaden Perron. Now look at him, right? And every time I watched him there, I thought he was pretty good in North Dakota. It's just the points weren't there.
Points.
Yeah. What else do we have? Thoughts on Iorio and Wasselin? I don't think I can give you a good answer on that. I think Wasselin's intriguing for his skill, but I don't know if there's an NHL guy there. Have you seen much of Will Korkoff this year? Thoughts on his development? I mean, he's shooting 30-something% or 40%, so that always helps.
Is what that means.
It always helps. But I mean, like Will Korkoff, to me, it's always like I feel like he'll project to a bottom 6 NHL role. I just don't know. He's big. He's a big boy.
No, we're skipping this next question. You know what the answer is. Totally unbiased Steelhead fan. The answer is no. We're not trade. The Leafs should never trade William Nylander. The Leafs trade William Nylander, I die. That's what happens.
Yep. Thoughts on Carson Carroll's? I'm worried he doesn't have elite skills and looks good because he's physically mature. I could see that. I mean, I have Carson Carroll's outside the first round. Like, I'm not a huge fan of him really in terms of projecting as an NHL player, but he's a good player. But like, I don't know. I there's something about him. I haven't put my finger on exactly quite yet that I just when I watch him, he just kind of disappears for stretches, and there's a very limited number of scenarios where I think he looks really, really, really confident and strong, but he's really good when that happens. I don't know. There's something weird about him, but I don't know yet. Breck Liskey or Jackson Rudolph? Flip a coin. I think Rudolph is a better passer and makes quicker decisions and executes a little better, but Liskey, I think, there's a really strong development case for Liskey, I think. I need to see more of him, but I've really liked what I've seen out of him this year. The Caps have been excellent at building a core. Yes, I agree. Cole Hudson, Ryan Leonard, Lyndon Lakovic, Connor McMichael, Feyervari, Sandin, Protas Brothers, Surdiff. Yeah, they have a lot of good pieces.
Lyndon Lakovic game tape. Yes. He's an awesome dude and my bromance. Love you, Lyndon.
Let's what do we got here? Have you thought about Wallstead yet?
What happened? We talked about it.
Yeah, we did. Why didn't Detroit take Wallstead? Because they liked Kosa better. The thing about Wallstead at the draft that I was talking to people about was that he didn't really interview all that well. And one scout, I won't mention team or name or whatever, but someone did mention to me that they interviewed him and they were like, he was just weird. Like, he's just a weird guy and really quiet. And I think a lot of teams expect goalies to be more charismatic. And like, he said he thought that some teams might have thought that he came across as a bit of an arrogant, like, I'm better than this and I don't need to answer your questions type of interview, which rubs a lot of teams the wrong way. When in reality, like, he's like, I mean this, and I don't mean this because like, funny word, but legitimately honest answer. They're like, I'm not a psychologist, but he might have a little bit of like autism going on, where his social awareness and his engagement with conversation and things might be a little unusual to people and like a little bit tough to.
And he's also in another language too, right?
Like, yeah, it is another language. So it's like those types of things kind of all came together, and it's like some teams felt one way about him or another way or whatever, and it just kind of was a soup that knocked him down the list for a lot of people, I think, and that's what I was told at the time, and in retrospect, that's what I've been told. I mean, I don't know. I sort of go, yeah, but he was sick. Like,
yeah,
he was great. He was so good. Like, and I don't know. Like, I always looked at him and I went, he's like Optimus Prime. Like, he's Optimus Prime in net, just transforming into a car and back to a robot and back to a car over and over, and whatever it took to stop a puck. It was great.
He's also a goalie, and it's hard for teams to be convinced to take goalies super high as well. So
yes. Don't you worry about Preston being a guy where his production will be amazing internationally, but come club play, his production will struggle. Why isn't he scoring in the WHL? Because his WHL team is not good. He is, like, again, go watch him at the CHL game when he wasn't playing with Spokane. He was incredible. Like, I am so confident in like, Mathis Preston is William Nylander. Like, he's not a guy I'd play at center, to be honest, but I think that his defensive game in the neutral zone is underrated. His creativity is astoundingly good. And I think when you put him with good players, he looks incredible, and not because he's just floating around with them. Like, I don't know. I've seen enough of him this year where I'm absolutely not concerned about the production. Absolutely not. Not at all. I think that he is going to be just fine. He was incredible at the Holinka tournament. And with Spokane, they put him on a line with like Sam Aremba the last game, or Chase Harrington. And it's like, they're just not the right match for him. If he had Berkeley Catton on the ice with him, it would be lights out every time. Not because Berkeley Catton would carry him around, but because those two would synergize extremely well.
And wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not worried at all. Meat stews are underrated. That is true. I don't give a crap if it's New York Italian. I love chicken parm. Okay, fair enough. I just don't like it.
Yeah, you're crazy. And then there's people talking about how turkey's great. So screw you.
I don't care.
You're wrong.
I don't.
You should care. You should care because you're wrong.
I went through I'm not a huge believer in Gavin McKenna at one onslaught from September. I can handle chicken parm is good. I can handle turkey is good, right? I can handle that from people. I get it. I'm cool, right?
I'm not. Fine. Get out of here.
I'm fine. Whatever. I'm fine with that.
Not cool.
I've been through. Shut up.
This is why you wanted me back.
The guy with like 5,000 hours.
Hey, it's 4,000.
Mom's basement.
Hey, no, I live in my dad's house. My mom. I don't live with my mom, so haha. Okay, get wrecked.
Lives with his dad at 25 years old. Oh,
in Toronto.
Wow.
How can I afford a house here? I don't live in the basement. I live on the main floor like a good human being, and I pay rent. So you know what? I'm not a total degenerate, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I have a full-time job with full benefits, all right? I've made something for myself here. I am not a loser. Just my hockey team sucks, okay? That is it. But you, sir, for not liking turkey, tisk tisk.
Could not care less. Could not care less.
This is the fun you missed without me.
Right. We'll call it that. Calder top 5 right now, and then I think we can get out of here.
All right, cool. Turkey,
Calder top
number
5.
1. It has to be.
Let's see. I have the stats page open, so
Will's just gonna read points and then call it a day.
I just need to know who are the rookies this year that are.
We should actually do a Calder
yeah, I know.
power ranking soon. We are overdue.
Oh, here it is. Yeah. Probably after Christmas is when we'll fully ramp.
Yep.
Yeah, so for me probably would be Demidov. Schaefer, Demidov.
Yeah.
And
then it doesn't matter because those two are gonna it's those two.
Maybe Schaefer, Demidov, Seneca, I guess. Leonard, maybe Leonard and then Seneca. And
you gotta put is Wallstead a
Wallstead, yeah, okay.
Throw Wallstead
if Wallstead keeps this up like a 9 bajillion and Minnesota makes the playoffs because of him, probably Schaefer, Wallstead, Demidov, or Leonard, Seneca, something like that. Cowan, yeah.
Easton Cowan, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'd put Nikishin in there personally.
No.
I don't think I'd put Nikishin. What's the best Christmas movie? Most overrated and underhyped? The best Christmas movie
Home Alone.
is
I don't care.
Home
I love
Alone.
Home Alone.
I agree. Home Alone. Look, we agree on something finally today.
We agree.
Home Alone. Most underrated. What is that movie?
I don't have a movie, but I have an underrated Christmas. Actually, it's not underrated, but I still love it. Woodland Critter Christmas, my favorite.
Oh yes, yeah.
Go watch Woodland Critter Christmas in South Park.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Most underrated Christmas movie, Single All the Way. That movie is
never heard of it.
Incredible. It's about a guy and his roommate, and they're both gay. They go back home to his family's home, and he brings his roommate because he's single and like doesn't have whatever. And it's just a wacky family that he's part of, and like Jennifer Coolidge is in it, and one of my favorite movie performances of all time is Jennifer Coolidge in Single All the Way. And I
don't know who that is, and I don't know that movie.
You don't know who Jennifer Coolidge is? Oh boy, oh man. Anyway, incredible, incredible. That movie is excellent. The overhyped Christmas movie. Ugh. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like Christmas movies that I don't watch that I don't like that are very popular, and
But there aren't many. It's just
There
Home
aren't
Alone's
many.
super popular because it's super good.
It is.
Like The Grinch and Home Alone. Those are the classics.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Jim Carrey Grinch
No,
movie,
but
that's
I
not
watched
like a
but I watched the
classic.
animated one.
Oh yeah, the
The
animated
animated
one was
one. My brother would
legendary.
watch that in July. That's how much he loved that movie as a kid. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Let's see. Let's see. Are there any ones that are very popular that are not actually that good?
I should do a rendition of that song because I can sing the bass notes.
Yeah, there's not much here. Oh, I'm up at Christmas Carol. That one rocks. I forgot about that one.
Figure it out so we can call it.
No, I know. I can't point to any of these. I'm just scrolling through, and they're all so much fun. I don't know. They're all
Whatever
fun for
your
various
favorite
reasons.
Christmas movie is, it's overrated. There.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I wasn't huge on the Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's I don't know
I
if
like
it's a
it.
Halloween movie or a Christmas movie.
I
but that's
like that
also,
movie.
It's a pretty high bar. It's a pretty high.
I
bar.
love
There's
that
no-
movie. It was great.
Yeah, pretty high bar.
That was my first ever Tim Burton film I watched.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can call it a day on
Sure.
that then. Well, thank you for joining me. This was fun. AJ, if you have any final words before you take off
Yep.
for a week and a half.
Well, let's see. I'm like the dad that goes out for milk now and just comes back sporadically. I come back.
You go to your secret family in Illinois.
Hey now, don't expose my secrets. Don't expose my secrets.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't say that there's much else to say other than fire Treliving and fire Berube. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, Monday night. See you then.